What about my sweat equity? Sweat equity? Sweat equity? My
Good.
sweat equity. My sweat equity. Sweat equity. What about my sweat equity?
Ooh. You got your soundboard ready?
Yeah, no, I'm doing the cameras too, so I got so many keyboards and stuff. Look at that. I threw our names up there. Boom, I'm going to pull it back. Boom, gone.
Oh,
I
shit,
can
man.
do it whenever I want. You want to see my name again? Boom. It takes a minute.
Oh,
there it is.
yeah.
Yeah, there we go. And I'll bring it all back.
Hi.
It's great for the
Nice.
audio listeners.
Well, if you want to see it on video, you can go on YouTube. You can go on Facebook page. You can go on Vimeo, right?
Yeah, all those things.
You can send us cash in the Cash App,
Mm-hmm.
Venmo.
Bitcoin,
Send us Bitcoin. We're good with that.
Dogecoin.
Monero.
Mm-hmm.
What are the other ones? Those sound like
Pesos,
Parks and Rec.
made up.
All the currencies that are coming out, the cryptocurrencies.
Oh, yeah.
You can send like, fuck, I forgot one of them. That
Booger
was
coin.
Yeah, it's like so ridiculous. It's like, who's investing in Booger coin?
Mm-hmm. There's always believers.
Bro, you don't know Booger coin is like. I know how to pick it. Okay, that's the
Yeah.
guy who's.
I'm not on the keyboard game where I go. Sorry.
There's a delay. We're doing this without John Paul from Tampaniac. You know, R.I.P. He'll be missed.
Yeah.
He's only away for a week, but he's not dead or anything.
He'll haunt us in a week.
Yeah, I like the last episodes we've had where I think he feels they were awkward. I thought we were going over this is how people talk. This is the reason you do a podcast. A lot of people listen to hear a conversation they're not having normally.
Did he say it was awkward? I mean, he brought it up saying he wouldn't bring it up saying he had beef if he didn't want to talk about it.
Well, there was always like a post game after we were done too. That was like, I think he thought. So the last one was me thinking I threw him under the bus, right?
Which he did say that.
Right.
Like, yeah, thanks for throwing me under the bus.
Right. And I was like,
And by the way, John Paul, you're dumb for not being here. We're going to talk about you.
yeah, of course.
it's
We're like
gonna
girls like
happen.
that.
I
Yeah.
know.
If you're the girl
He's
that didn't
gone.
make brunch.
Exactly. Can you believe her?
Ugh. Did you see the clutch he was wearing?
Skirt was so short.
He was wearing a skort. You didn't see it. He bent over. I saw a skort.
Yeah, I know.
I looked.
He called it a skilt.
So I think he thought it was awkward, and I was like, no. I think he thought I was mad, and I wasn't. It's just hard to, when you're doing the show, everybody's doing like two things at once, kind of thing.
Right.
And so while this is a heightened conversation, it's a conversation we have once or twice a week without a phone or any interruption. It's still like.
There's still a rush to, you don't want to sit there and really reiterate how sorry you are and that you're not mad at them.
Well, y'all are thinking about production as it's going and making sure it's all smooth. I'm thinking like a stand-up set where kind of keep it rolling if I can.
Right.
If I don't have a point, then just let's move on, or try not to stumble over everybody. Like if I host a stand-up show, sometimes you got to bounce in there a minute early.
Yeah.
Or let someone go a minute late because they're going to crush it. And just keep that energy going. Don't try to do set. Don't try to do, when you MC a show, don't try to do a joke in between if the last person crushed.
Uh-huh.
Just go up
Yeah.
and bring the next person up, kind of thing. So
yeah, you don't want to bring the show to a halt just, for feelings.
Well, you know what it's like? PTI. You
Yeah.
know, the little, the block of topics.
Yeah, I do love that. I wish we could do that.
We could probably, that's what I want to do with Advice City when we get that up, is have maybe, we do a couple 1 minute topics here and there. I want to do people can call into a voicemail. I've heard a lot of podcasts do that, where people can leave messages.
Yeah.
We play the good ones.
I feel like that was the 15 years ago thing.
In podcast?
Not in podcast, but I think they did it on the radio, didn't they? Like, I play my message.
Yeah, we don't have to play them.
I hate the idea.
It's another option. People can upload a video. I think they have to upload a video.
Okay.
That should be it, right?
Nude.
Yeah, okay. But Winnie the Pooh nude.
Yeah, shirt on.
Shirt on, pants
No
off.
pants.
Daffy Duck style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blazer. That's it.
Yeah, you have to wear a blazer.
Yeah.
The puffier, the better.
This is a business podcast.
Yeah, that's
We're
right.
all business. Wear that blazer.
If you can get your
no
mom's
pants.
blazer from 1991, that
Yes.
has like shoulder pads like a Raiders outfit
Yeah.
or Gwar.
Yeah.
Um,
Bonus for cross dressing.
well, we can tell which side the buttons are on. You know,
Yeah, I heard that. I think it was on The Office.
I was definitely on The Office. Yeah, but
We won't get into all the Office recaps.
there's also Portlandia.
Oh, really?
They did well. They do the what are the lesbian bookstore characters? They did a
Mm.
whole episode where it was just them in the '80s and how they met.
Oh, yeah.
It's so great.
Yeah.
It's like
They're
don't tell
straight.
mom the babysitter's dead.
Yeah.
It's like they're both fashionistas.
Yeah.
Anyway, my buddy has come out with a book about Greg Giraldo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so if you
Who's your
I'm-
buddy?
Matty Ballgame, he's a comedian out of SoCal. We used to do stand up together in LA. He's been working on. He's been on the podcast before you came aboard. We
I
call
don't
that
remember. What's his?
we call that BE on in this area.
Yes, we treat it with
before
respect.
Eric.
What was his actual name?
Matty Ballicker?
Okay. Well,
I-
that's,
But
You
it
don't
sounds like
know it.
ball liquor.
well, I mean, it's better
I
than
think
ball
it's
game.
Ballicker, but
Mm.
just we went by Matty Ballgame when he was brought up.
I know, but on the book itself, it doesn't say by go straight
You're not
in
gonna
by
look
Matty
up,
Ballgame.
but you're not going to look him up. You're just going to look up Greg Giraldo book, and that'll pop up.
I'm just trying to get the guy some recognition.
Yeah,
That's
well,
all.
Shout out to him. He sent me a Facebook message. I didn't even read it. But no,
cool guy.
no, I have like I see the preview. This has been a bad habit of mine. I see the preview of a text or an email
I
or a
get it.
message, and I was like, I got it. I'll do a plug. We'll get him on the podcast to phone in because he's one of the rare comics I knew that actually like he worked for a hedge fund during the day kind of thing.
Yeah.
He actually had a real job.
So we could talk business.
Yeah, there's
He's
rare
wise.
we can find a comic that can really talk business that isn't entertainment only.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, because there's the entertainment side or the business side of entertainment, but
right?
We
And
hammer
that's
that
like
home pretty
boring
hard.
to me. That's almost boring to me. Maybe I listen too much of like other people's podcasts.
right. Yeah, you listen to other comedians' podcasts; they're going to talk about it.
Well, the Greg Giraldo book, one of my favorite comics growing up. Speaking
too.
of speaking of which, he was an attorney.
Really?
Yeah, he was Harvard grad, I think.
Oh yeah, he's a really smart guy.
So
huh?
him and like Paul Mercurio were attorneys that did stand up, like really incredibly bright guys.
I used to love Greg Giraldo. I mean, I still do, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he was one of my favorites.
Well, Tough Crowd, when he was on Tough Crowd, man, he used to crush it. I'd watch that show every night.
Yeah, I never got into it. It was just I was too young. We're the same age.
Nick DiPaolo and Greg Giraldo. Yeah, but I've been like a 50-year-old man my whole life.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
talking politics in 8th grade.
Yeah, but I'm talking like FDR. I'm talking like
Wait,
you
you're
remember,
FDR or you're talking about FDR?
I'm talking
and
about
his
FDR.
policies?
I'm like, remember Brand New
Tennessee
Deal?
Valley Authority. It's
Remember-
not gonna. It's not catching on.
Exactly.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I don't. Man, this civil rights thing. I guess it's here to stay.
You know what? I'm against it.
So go out, look for that book if you're a fan. I think you can get it on. I think you can get not an audiobook version, but like a Kindle version. I guess an e-version of the book. A good book. My therapist told me to get if you want to hear one. Speaking of books, Daring Greatly. It's about creative versus linear thinking,
Mm.
and a lot of people can think linear, A to B to C only. I think you and I have the ability to create solutions that kind of creative.
Mm-hmm.
So we see things as maybe more of a puzzle or a lot of gray area, not binary
Yeah.
decision making. And so,
The answer's not always so obvious.
well, I think we both see that you can get the same result or the same answer in a myriad of ways.
Yeah.
Just with generally speaking, that's obviously a broad statement, but like any businessy kind of problem we've had, website development is a real instance of that. Like
yeah.
we
We've
get
had some-
stuck,
Yeah, we've had some stumpers.
and it's like we know we can figure this out, and sometimes we've individually gone to find the solution and found two different ways to do it.
Sure.
You know, and so
Henry Hollingsworth, friend of the program,
mhm.
allday.io, he was talking to me about this. I don't know if it was because you guys had talked.
we've
or
been
not.
talking a lot about it. Yeah.
He said something that one of the thinkers is able to look closely at something and zoom out, and the other one is able to look from a distance and zoom in. What is the difference?
Do you remember how that goes?
Well, I was told through my therapist that linear or creative can look linear, but linear can't look creative. So we've been in jobs where we've had to be linear processes, right? You worked for Snap-on before.
Mm-hmm.
They go, here's how we do things here, and when you get a lead, you do this, right?
Right.
And that's the only way you're going to do it because that's the way they want you to do it, right?
Yeah.
I had a
Well, that makes sense.
I was at a mutual fund company. They go, hey, when you're doing the holdings report and you're listing thousands of stocks and you're giving it out to everybody in the client services department, it has to be this way, or we can get boned by the SEC. Like,
Yeah.
like, okay, that's going to be the way we do it.
I'll check all the boxes then,
But
boss.
linear has a tough time going creative, and so when you think in binary, and when you only think this is the only way to do things, sometimes it's really hard to get off of that.
Sure.
Black and white, yes or no. you
So
know.
we're like better than linear people.
Well, we can be self-destructive though. That's the other part. So
Mm.
we can overthink. I see
Yes.
everything as a big puzzle a lot of the time. Like visually, I'll see things as a puzzle of like a way to get there.
I know. How many times you've moved this office around is evidence of that for sure.
That could be OCD ish, according to the therapist too. That could be something manifesting that way. I know what that is. My thing is only like I'm optimizing the office in my head
Yes.
without spending money.
Yeah. Okay.
We have no budget.
When does he want me to come in and share my insights on you?
Oh,
I'm sure that's got to
Whenever
be
you want.
on the
I
docket.
gave him my mental health evaluation, passed with flying colors.
Good. Congratulations.
He gave me a grade, but he
Crazy.
didn't have to.
Did you get a sticker?
I'll let you read it. I'm going to give you everybody in here a copy since you've had to endure a lot of my craziness.
Oh, we should read it on the podcast.
That'll be a special one.
Okay.
We'll do that.
You
But
have to redact everything first.
no, it doesn't. It doesn't call anybody out. It just says, a couple of things like be less competitive, be more cooperative. Maybe I'm more ambitious than maybe some people around me realize. I might be a perfectionist, and
These are all these backhanded compliments to yourself.
they're not. These are all the bad things,
Yeah, I get it.
but they're not compliments. I'm not like because my dick is too wide. Like I'm not saying like that. I'm saying like it. It's not good. It's not good to be competitive a lot of the time. Too much of that's bad.
Yeah, the competitive one was the one that I didn't think really was a backhanded compliment to yourself. But the other one,
What did I say? What was the other one?
perfectionist.
So perfection's not a good thing.
I know, but
I thought it was too. Because when he said it, I was like, "Look at me." And he's like, "Yeah, that's the facade you want to create." And I was like, "No." I was like, "I don't think you're right on that one, but
I don't think you're a perfectionist.
in my own way." So it's the way he compared it, and this is good for kind of business. Anybody running their own thing, right? You can get your own way a lot. Comedians have this big time, self-destructive, right?
Yeah.
So the way he put it, every session's been like a Goodwill Hunting kind of thing, where I've been like,
He tells you it's not your fault.
I don't like break down or anything, but there's been like one nugget I've gotten from the 10 weeks of doing it. And I come in here and Henry and I, the aforementioned Henry, and I've told you some of the things I've learned. I'll come away and be like, I don't want to admit he's right, but he's right in the room. And I'll tell him like, I never thought about it that way,
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's growth in itself.
I try to say that if someone's telling me something, I'll stop and be like, you know what, you're right.
Oh, I go out of my way to tell people I was wrong
Yeah,
because it drives me crazy when people don't admit it.
exactly.
It's like,
It's called empathy.
yeah,
It's not sympathy.
I'm just like, yeah,
People confuse those, by the way.
right.
Their sympathy is compassionate, and it's it's that thing of like
Hope you can explain the difference because I don't know if I could.
empathy is walk a
articulate.
mile in someone's shoes, and sympathy is you feel bad for someone.
Mm.
You have compassion, right? Sympathy is not necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, I was going to say sympathy just sounds like you're saying the things or feeling the things you think you're supposed to, but not doing anything about it.
No, it would be like, oh, poor Eric, man. That sucks for him that he can't afford a whole shirt.
Right.
Like you're wearing a tank top.
Yeah.
You feel bad. You go, that sucks. But I'm not like, if it was empathy, I'd be like, oh man, it'd be tough to work throughout the day without a whole shirt on.
Right.
You
I
know, like-
gotcha. Okay.
And so
That's a good explanation.
yeah, because I think about that a lot. Ever since we took that advanced personality questionnaire from Asher Strategies,
Yeah.
you know, looking at ego and empathy and making sure to keep those two in check, because you go too far in either, it's bad.
Yeah. That's
And-
why you do mushrooms, people.
I was telling someone that yesterday.
Yeah.
If you want to find out about your brand and you're mostly it as an owner, I say it flippantly, but I'm kind of serious. I'm
100% serious.
like, you need to go in the woods and you need to go, you know, do some shrooms or whatever you need to do to be able to zone out a little bit
Mm-hmm.
and go, what are we as a brand? Who are we? Why are we better?
Yeah.
Why should anybody buy from us?
You don't even, if you're in like a creative situation, I wouldn't say eat mushrooms and start trying to be creative. Eat the mushrooms, have your time with the mushrooms. They clear your brain out. And then that next day, when that sun is so bright and the sky is so big, you go out and then you are able to create because you don't have all that shit weighing you down.
Yeah, the last time you and I did it, like a year and a half ago or something like that, like 2 years
At
ago.
least, yeah.
I told you
Do
it
it for
felt-
another company picnic.
Yeah, I'm down. It felt like hitting the reset button on Nintendo, like taking out the cartridge, getting all the dirt out, like
Right.
doing the blow thing. Maybe
Uh-huh.
some if you're advanced, you take your finger, lick a little bit, put it on this circuit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I never heard that one.
Yeah. You gotta know. You gotta read Gamer Magazine or whatever that was.
Nintendo Power.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who do you think did? I knew the name of the magazine.
Well, you missed
Was
that
a subscriber
section.
for 30 years.
You mixed Ricky Riley's section in the back. You didn't know. He even had an op-ed in the back.
Yeah.
Uh,
Faces in the crowd.
so
The nerd crowd.
there's just hands in the crowd. Just a bunch of gloves, like yeah.
Power gloves.
So it's it felt like hitting the reset button on that, and I'll go backwards. What we were talking about, like knowing thyself, going backwards, back to. I'm trying to get us back on the highway.
Yes.
Uh,
Off of drugs onto the highway.
Well, so every session's been like learning some kind of nugget and being like, "Fuck you,
Yeah.
you're right. Fuck you, you're right."
No,
Like,
you should say good.
but if I've come in a little cocky, you know, he'll challenge that. I realized afterwards, I'm like, why is he being so challenging? It's like, oh, because I think he thinks I'm getting a big head about like I'm fine.
Right.
You know, like so.
It's
I have to
keeping you
come
in
in
check.
Yeah, I have to come
like
in.
it.
I have to come in blank like an improv scene where you're not supposed to think about anything
Mm-hmm.
and let your mind be totally blank. That's how they teach you in the Groundlings. Or I've been saying like if you ever go surfing, you know, you can't really control much. You just ride the wave. You can control you on the wave, but you can't control the wave.
Yeah.
And so go into it knowing that, and it's like kind of that surrender. I've been thinking about surrender a lot.
Yeah. That's hard. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
That's a big one. Not to go back to mushrooms, but every time
Oh, we can go back to
Anybody-
mushrooms. I just had to go
anybody-
back to therapy
Yeah.
to get to back to the
Well,
mushroom.
like the surrender part of anything, whether you're on mushrooms or not, it's the hardest thing for people to do. It's to let go of that past way of doing things and just be like, all right, I don't have any control. People think they have control. It's like, not really. And that was
We've
much
got-
of anything.
We've got bad debt clients.
Yeah.
And part of it is I want to go hard in the paint on it because I'm mad about it.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's better to let a third party handle it. That's the business way of doing it. I have to surrender
Yeah.
the hatred.
You want that visceral
Right.
feeling.
Right. I'm never gonna get it. By the
Right,
way,
exactly.
There's no revenge where I'm gonna be like, or even
Ah.
like get to even of what we're supposed to be paid or whatever. I'm never gonna be like, oh sweet,
Yeah.
that felt great.
Right.
I'll still be mad.
Yeah.
So I had to put surrender of those, that feeling of like being gypped. You can't say gypped anymore.
Oh.
Because you can't make fun of gypsies. Do you know that? Someone's trying to get that going.
Oh, okay.
Do you know that? Someone's
Well,
sticking up for gypsies.
I guess,
all-
any of
all
those.
20 of them.
Yeah, do they can't hear this.
They're gypsies. They don't
Do they
have
have-
electronics.
Internet on their caravan?
I don't know. They have magic.
That is true. Do not mess with a gypsy.
Black
If
magic.
they curse you, it is real.
So that thing of like surrender, like, look, we're gonna take our lumps. We're gonna learn from it, and onward and upward kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you don't have to forget it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a control thing. It's
Yeah.
like a lot of people's anxieties is feeling out of control. It's like, oh man, I don't know what's going to happen leading up to this big event. It's like you just feel that anxiety because you're not there right now. Because when it's happening, none of the stuff is ever as big as you make it in your mind, and that
Right.
not being able to be there at that time or whatever it is that you're feeling anxious about, it's because you can't control it. Because if you could control it, you just stop doing it. You
I
just flip the switch.
I think when people have to do a speech and they have time to think about it going
Yeah.
up, I think the less they kind of rehearse it is a lot of it. Because the more you rehearse something like that, I mean, you still might suck, but I'm saying like, at least you go, okay, here's point A, here's point B, here's point C.
Yeah, I mean,
If you don't do it a lot, like I'm terrified to speak in front of our network. Not terrified, but I don't like speaking in front of our business networking group because I'm verbose and because like I have to jam so much information into 30 seconds. And for a while, I thought people expected me to be funny once they found I did stand up. So I was like, I'm just not going to do that at all. Clearly on this show,
right? Yes. Yes.
not swinging a big wiener. But there's that thing of like, that would make me anxious. And then after a while, I was like, oh, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Because nobody, I mean, in every situation like that, everybody else in the room, they're not thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves.
Right,
They're
exactly.
thinking about their own stupid 30 seconds.
I'm like, a third of these people are awake.
right.
it's in the
They're all
morning.
looking at their phones. Nobody's really paying attention to ever.
Same at an open mic. You think the comedians are listening. Some are. Your best friends are because they want to listen
Right.
for funsies. And also call you out. You don't do the same old shit, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you're like, can you guys just fucking leave the room? I just want to talk to people. Not,
Yeah.
but yeah, that surrender of like, hey, they're going to be in the room. And so prepare the best you can. Know that. And know that your anxiety, it's that Van Wilder quote.
Oh, here we go. Quoting Van
Wor-
Wilder.
Listen, worrying is like a rocking chair. Gives you something to do, doesn't get you anywhere. It's a weird, great quote.
That's got to be from something else.
It's something else. It's definitely not. They didn't create it for National Lampoon's Van Wilder. Technically, the Burt Kreischer story.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tampa's own Burt Kreischer. But that's what's funny about it is like that's such like a great quote that's in such a off place to put it.
Yeah.
But I say it all the time, and I told someone else that yesterday. I was worried.
Yeah, that's good.
Because what does it do? Hand wringing doesn't give you shit,
Yeah.
right?
I'm trying to do the like complete, if I'm worried about something, the complete apocalyptic worst case scenario. And no matter what that is,
Yeah.
I end it with, I'm just going to die anyways.
Yeah.
Really, none of it matters ever.
Oh, when
Like,
things have been in the shitter, I just go, well, I'm not dead.
Exactly.
And I go, okay, and I'm healthy.
Yeah.
I'll get out of this.
Yeah.
It'll suck right
And then
now.
you got two big pluses for you right there.
yeah.
It's like,
Oh, yeah, I'm not dead.
yeah. I mean, it's
I'm girthy.
It's
All
not
right,
easy to
three.
do.
3 pluses.
yeah, it's just like you got to get to the point to take control of what you can take control of your
Well,
own mind.
That's what AA tells you.
Yeah.
You got no control. Now, whether that's a religious kind of thing that they're really putting into you, I'm not going to get into that. But it's all about like you don't have a control over that disease.
Yeah.
But that's kind of why AA works. It's ritualistic. It kind of gives you that mindset of like you can control what you can control, the things you can.
Right.
But
Well,
it's
that's-
very limiting.
Yeah, that's where religion is so big, is because those things that you can't control are then passed on to God. It's in God's hands. They have that solace that God will take care of them or take care of the situation, which is, I get it.
Or
I totally
Allah.
understand. Or Allah.
Or Jewish God,
Or, yes, what,
J God.
Yahweh.
That's what he goes by now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. J-Date.
Yahweh's
J-Date.
Yahweh is a good name. I'm surprised you don't hear that much in like the NFL.
Surprised a rapper isn't named Yahweh.
Bring all this psychology into, because we talked about confirmation bias in the last 2 episodes a little bit, and it was honestly great that we had a misunderstanding because that almost literally showed what in a meta way what we were talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
because
he went into it thinking one thing,
and you didn't hear the same thing.
Right.
I didn't hear the same thing.
Yeah,
you were close to a situation he was talking about, an experience.
Yeah,
and didn't think the same way. So he had your control group and your what is the other one?
N1.
Your A/B split,
I don't
basically. I always call it A/B split from advertising, but in psychology, you do the test. You have your regular group and your control group, or whatever you call
your double-blind placebo.
And so, I didn't even realize it until after we did those 2 episodes that the thing we were discussing, we actually had a discussion that was all about that.
Yeah. No, it really worked out good for us.
No shrooms.
Yeah.
But business is psychology, if you break it down.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I heard Marcus Lemonis, The Prophet, the show on CNBC. I heard him talk.
Like, what team did he play for?
He talks about, it's basic psychology, and a lot of people can't get out of their own way. That's what my boy John Taffer talks about.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I want to do when I grow up, is be him.
Kind of are.
But I
websites.
I don't get to go into businesses yet and yell with camera.
You're
crew.
gonna get people sick.
I
You're
did.
gonna get people computer viruses.
I did pitch us as a reality show to my friend Carrie, who did a lot of stuff with E at one point. Maybe I should kick the tires on that. Because it would be fun to have camera crews follow us.
Oh,
you could be you could be the nice guy, and I'll go in and just yell at people. But what he's doing,
I want to be mean.
Well, we can flip flop.
Bad cop, bad cop.
Yeah, but
Just name the show.
Shittier cop, shit cop.
Well, that won't play on Netflix.
But you can take what all Taffer's doing. He's not really yelling at him. He's breaking him down.
Yeah.
I've heard his method. I like read into like what it actually is. He's breaking you down like military style.
And then building you back up.
I feel like I'm rebooting all their processes again here. I try not to get in the pity party part of it where you're like, I fucking shouldn't be at this level right now. But fuck it. I already got past that.
Yeah.
You're going to have reincarnations of your brand, of your business, or you just sold it and you got to start something new.
Yeah, that could be paralyzing where you're just like, oh, I'm doing this again. And it's like, you can't just get over this pity like on yourself, like, oh, what'll people think that I'm having to do whatever again?
Yep.
Again, nobody cares, for
Right.
one. And two,
Yeah, no one
you
gives a
learned
shit but
something.
you.
Yeah, you learned something. One way or another, you learned something.
Right. And starting over is not a bad thing either, because
No.
then you can teach someone else how to do it too.
That's very true.
This is what I've been talking. My friend got fired and was telling her that it's all good. She's
Did
like,
you
I don't
do
want to
the-
start over.
Did
And
you do the Jocko Willink?
I sent her
good?
that. Yeah.
Good.
Every day I've been sending her something motivational because she's in that zone, I think.
Good.
I'll tell you off air who it is,
Okay.
but she's in that zone where she's like, I don't just fucking want to start over. And I'm like, don't think of it that way. Think of it, you get to. I
Yeah.
was like, hey, we had Vadim in here a couple months ago.
Yeah,
you gotta
ain't
remember,
nobody, ain't nobody gonna beat that story.
you've got an opportunity. We live in a country where you have the opportunity to do whatever you want.
Oh yeah,
You don't even get that in almost every country.
yeah, yeah.
We
Most of the time
forget
you're
that.
born into like whatever your parents are doing, or you might be owned. By whoever.
Fucking centuries ago, you're just in the feudalist system.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
You're basically born to take care of a farm your family had.
yeah.
We live in such a good time.
You're
that-
like a notch above a mule.
right. I have 9 brothers and sisters because
You
we
mean-
need a team.
Yeah, 9 workers. You
We
mean?
need all hands on deck.
This is my
3 of us
coworker.
are going to
I mean,
die
brother.
before we're 15. Like,
Yeah. No, that's why. I mean, they had to like play the numbers game, especially if they had a farm like that. It was
Right.
just like, who the hell else is
it
going
was
to do it?
strategic.
You can't just go around buying equipment.
And now
There's
we
no
live.
John Deere.
We live in. I always have to remember that. Like having Vadim on was really good in the sense that he's from Russia and would be in the Ukraine, be in Russia, and he's telling us he can't just do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
You have to be entrepreneurial on a black market.
Yeah. And that if he was going to have a nice, successful business, in comes the government, and they take their piece, their big piece.
The Black Sea market.
Yeah.
Nice. Well done. Way to put in some geography in there. But like, it's that thing of like, I'll remember. I try to remember. I thought about that probably every day since he's been on, because it does, like, it's easy to take for granted to have that pity party, or things aren't going the way I want them to.
Yeah. You can say, at least I'm not Vadim in South St. Pete who could barely speak English with little to no money and going to a gas station trying to, like...
With kids.
With kids. He
And
came
his
from
wife.
Russia with kids. Like,
Right.
I would have left him and be like, I'm an American now. This is done.
Yeah.
I can't, this flight's too long.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that's grit, and grit gets you through all that stuff. And so I think that's all this psychology talk is like, if you're sitting out there listening to this podcast and you're trying to do your own thing, and you know, you're doing it after hours, you're doing it around the job that you're doing, like you're bartender or waiter. Those are mindless jobs after a while. Let's
Sure.
be honest.
Yeah.
That's kind of why you do those as an actor. If you go to LA, it's because you don't have to think.
Yeah.
And then when you want to go do the thing you want to do, it's flexible enough.
Yeah.
But if you're
don't have to
listening
leave a career.
right, there's no career waiters really anymore. There used to be.
I know a couple.
I know, but I mean, they exist. I'm saying, like, that used to exist in every city, I believe.
Yeah.
But now,
And it would be like a solid thing.
Yeah. I think maybe no one wants to call themselves that anymore. But
Oh.
I would say, like, if you're listening to this and you're doing that,
That's the 2-minute warning.
that job you don't want to do, you know, I may pick up a part-time remote job, honestly, just because where I'm at with my personal stuff, and that's a pride hit, but at the same time, it doesn't matter.
Right. It's again,
just a gig.
you're the only one feeling bad.
Right, exactly.
I'd
It's
be like,
just
good for you. Good job. Great.
it's just a gig,
Yeah.
right? And so you do what you have to do, and what was I say? Just because you're at whatever age you're at doesn't mean you can't go be an Uber driver.
I
to
hate
influx the beer thing you want to do in your garage.
I just hate that thing where it's like like for me, if I wanted to go get a job, if I went and got a job at a gas station,
Yeah.
people around me would be like, "Oh man, what's going on?" You know, like that's, you know, why is he doing? That's sad.
Well, right.
It's like, maybe I want to work at the gas station. What's a big deal? Like,
There's something to it.
you know, it's like, why? What is this like shame we put on people that for having, you know, a solid job?
Well, if there's an opportunity cost of you doing something better that fulfills you in the same way, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I probably put off doing some of the menial kind of stuff, or
Yeah.
like the kind of routine, you know, entry level things to bring in spare cash so we can pump this studio up. But like, you know, those things that the ceiling looks great, by the way.
Thank you.
If
Are
you're-
you being facetious?
No, it looks good. It creates this whole black box thing now.
I don't know. Does it make the room bigger? I feel like it's bigger
Well,
or smaller.
you know, you go
It's
in the
one
black
of the
hole,
two.
bro. You don't want to have the lights on now?
I've got. We didn't have
Did
the
you
lights on
forget?
the whole time.
Did you forget?
Gives a shit.
Is that because you're wearing your shades inside? Like,
I was
Ray
like, oh man,
Charles?
it's dark in here than normal. It's fine.
but yeah, it's that thing of business is psychology basic, and you got to know there's a lot of stuff we kind of just went over in 33 minutes. You got to know what you don't know. You got to know yourself first. Everything on the startup level to medium-sized business, it's all going to come from the owner down.
Yeah, don't feel bad for yourself. Not gonna get you anywhere. There's no shame in it.
But
as
no,
long
you
as
suck
you're-
at shit.
Yeah,
No, everybody's got holes in the game.
own it. Own whatever it is that you need to own.
That's why I do a quarterly meeting with our lawyers. Lawyer, I should say, power attorney.
Or yeah,
Power
a
business
team of
attorney to the
lawyers.
stars, fanteddylegal.com. You know, and he'll talk shit to me like the therapist. And he'll be like, here's where you're fucking up legally.
Yeah.
And I do it, and it's
Or,
pain.
yeah,
It's
have-
painful. It's like the ice bath you did earlier today.
Yes.
It's painful.
Have a friend. If you can't do it yourself, have somebody that you will not get mad at, who you know will tell you the truth, and just own it.
Yeah, have some fucking real talk. Real
What
talk.
about my sweat
Real
equity?
talk.
Get some real talk like DMX.
Sweat equity.
Hey, yo, bitch.
Sweat equity.
What equity, what equity?
My sweat equity.
My name's Damien. Hey, you bitch.
Sweat equity.
What about my sweat equity?